This photograph shows the Cross Lane Market Tower and the Superintendent's Building. Fabulous example of Art Deco. The market on this, well, there's been a market on this site from the 1890s. The market that you can see on this photograph opened in 1939. Over 1,000 people attended on the opening day. People may remember such market traders as Barmy Mick, Jack Winder, Jackie Muir, Barry Ansell. Barry Ansell had a record stall which he eventually moved to Barry's Record Rendezvous on Blackfriars Bridge, which a lot of people may remember. A woman called Mad Mary used to sell second-hand clothes. Peter Maxwell Davies, who is the master of the Queen's music, he actually wrote a piece called Cross Lane Market, which is an evocation of his childhood memories in the 30s going to the market with his mother. The market closed in 1970 and moved to the precinct. It's sadly a shadow of its former self. I find it ironic that the clock tower, which has been demolished, the site where it stood, it hasn't been rebuilt. You can see where you are now. This is the junction of Churchill Way and Cross Lane. Just look down, it's just a wasteland. I found that really sad. It would have made a wonderful memorial to Salford and a proper landmark which we need. This image shows the Salford cattle market, which was right next door to the open market. It opened in 1837 and by 1900 it was told to be the largest livestock market in Great Britain. On an average show there would be 2,500 cattle, 11,000 sheep, 160 calves and 80 pigs. It was that big, the market. It had its own bank with 6 slaughterhouses. Young boys would often work there. It was called rattling. They would be paid pennies to daub the animals with paint, etc., so they would know which pens they were going to. In 1930 Salford Council decided it was too expensive to maintain the market. It needed a lot of work doing sanitation, new drains, and it was decided to close the market. It closed in April 1931 after 94 years of trading. Now, as you can see, it's just an open grassland now. It's just strange to think that so many animals and there's so much history on that one patch of land in Salford. This photograph shows the cattle market public house on Cross Lane. If you look closely in the background you can see the Salford Paint and Varnish chimney tower, also the market clock tower. Now, there's been a pub on this site from the 1830s, but the pub in the photograph was built in the 1880s. Amongst the societies that used to meet there were the Salford Rugby Club. That was its headquarters in the 1920s. Now, the pub was the only one on Cross Lane to have a music and dancing licence, which attracted hundreds of people at weekends. Strangely enough, there used to be charabancs full of scousers each weekend would turn up. There was no music licences in Liverpool at the time, so they'd come down to let their hair down and it would inevitably end up in fighting. If you look at any of these Salford City reporters of that period, the 1950s, it's full of scousers fighting with the locals. It's an old tradition apparently. The pub changed its name in 1958 to the Red Rose Hotel, and it's completely modernised and refurbished. People may remember the Roy Mac trio upstairs dancing to them. In the early 70s it became a disco. It was demolished in 1974, and as you can see on the site now, it's just rows of houses and there's nothing, no trace of anything to connect to the pub.